the elephants will grab you with the trunk, throw you down, use big tusks, and boom, ram it through the person. Then it's time for the feet. They'll stand on your head, and they don't leave you until you're flat. Elephants are among the most majestic animals in the world, and one of my personal favorites. But when they go bad, when they turn rogue, they can be monsters. There are definitely rogue elephants. And when an elephant goes rogue, it is the biggest, baddest, most aggressive animal in the whole world. They have the strength and focus to be a really horrifying animal. I know that's a bold statement, but I stand by it. Elephants can be rogue, and more elephants are going rogue. In the ultimate definition of what makes an animal rogue, they are seeking out and killing people. So my investigation is not to determine if there are rogue elephants, but why. As an animal behaviorist, I've traveled the world studying dangerous animals, trying to identify nature's rogues. By getting dangerously close, I want to understand the natural instincts of predators like crocs. It looks like a loaded gun to me, and it can go off anytime. And the mean, rogue behavior of animals like hippos that don't eat meat, but kill more humans in Africa than any other. So I know what it's like to be around animals that don't want me around. I know how to read an elephant and know when I'm causing it stress, and when it tells me to leave, that's when I leave. I want to see rogue behavior. I want to see what they do when they're a little bit under stress. So I'm going to stay around longer. And it goes against everything that I know and everything that I'm used to. To try to understand them, I'm going to get as close as I can to the most aggressive elephants we know of. Musk bulls, pumped up with testosterone and ready to mate and fight. Young, delinquent males left on their own. Protective moms with their calves. And I'm going to do this walking on a breeding herd. A deadly mix of all of them. Looking at elephants, it's hard to believe they're anything but gentle giants. We're captivated by their sheer size, their intelligence, and their sensitive side. But there's no escaping it. Sometimes, without warning, elephants can lose it. On August 20th, 1994, a circus elephant named Tyke snapped and went on a brutal rampage, trampling her trainer to death and mauling several others. The tragic incident came to an end when local officials shot and killed Tyke. These incidents are headline news, but rogue attacks are not limited to the circus. Elephants in Africa are killing more than 200 people every year. Elephants are attacking and viciously trampling people to death and destroying entire villages. Delinquent young males are killing rhinos, despite the fact the two are not natural enemies. This has left many experts to wonder, are elephants going mad? This is an animal who is not happy. I want to know what's causing this rogue activity. I want to find elephants that cross the line from normal behavior to aggression towards humans. Are elephants rogue by nature, or are we humans to blame? Raul Canetti was on a safari in an open vehicle when he was charged and nearly stomped to death by an angry elephant. I was wondering if you could just take me through the step-by-step of what you remember.
We were basically following elephant. I was sitting here, Ranger was sitting on that side. All of a sudden the elephant came up over the rise. He stopped the vehicle, 7 elephants, some very small calves. At some point, she was obviously not happy that we were standing still, and she just attacked the vehicle. An elephant taking 10 steps takes seconds. So the moment she was in full charge, she hit the vehicle quite hard, you know? She was there. That was all face. And at that point in time, he said to me, get out and run. The next thing, I found myself flying. I landed on the floor, and as I looked up, she was basically grinding me into the ground. Everybody thinks they stand on you like in the comics. They don't. They use their forehead, and they basically push you. like kneading bread.
How serious were these injuries?
I can tell you that she ripped my face off. So she removed my nose completely, popped an eye socket, broke all these bones. There's quite a bit of steel in there. She broke every single rib on this side of my body. And when they say break, they didn't snap them, they're in little pieces. It's 3 years since the accident. And a lot of people say to me, oh, why did you get out and run? A lot of people say to you, you should have stayed in the vehicle. I don't actually know if it was the right or the wrong thing, but in essence, it's an elephant, and if the elephant wants to get into the vehicle, it can. Right. If it wants to pick the vehicle up and throw it over, it can. This is what people don't understand. There is no safe position when you have something that's 5 tons trying to get to you.
To demonstrate the power and intelligence of these animals, I'm going to work with Tembo, a trained elephant. And I'm going to use him to help describe what an elephant's going to do in a rogue attack. A lot of times what you'll see is they come, use that front face, and boom. You'll see it also when 2 big bulls are fighting. You put the forehead to forehead, and they smash each other. And it's a pushing contest just to see how strong they are. Now, there's a couple of reasons that they do these kinds of things. They push the big trees down so they can get to the top of the leaves. Sometimes they want to pull out the roots, get some food. Other times it's just to show off. Okay. An adult African elephant can reach 13 feet and top the scales at 15,000 pounds, as much as a regular school bus. Their trunks are made up of more than 100,000 muscles, and their ivory tusks can grow up to 10 feet long and weigh more than 200 pounds. You know, a lot of times, man has been using elephants to do their work for a long time. Think how easy it would be to take a little 200-pound guy like myself and just chuck me. We know that these guys, their body is built to sustain a lot of weight. Now, their feet, that's just a big pad of skin. Just to get an idea of how strong these guys are, we're gonna set up a bit of a tug of war. My truck, which I know is strong, against his one leg. Now I'm in gear. Well, that's a strong elephant. You drag me in gear, drag me with the park and brake on. The one thing these guys are famous for, they're brilliant. They are probably one of the smartest animals I've ever been around. When an elephant decides he wants to come after you, there's nothing stopping him. I'm about to experience this for myself. These elephants have actually been trained how to track. So these guys are gonna be able to find me?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be a problem. They've got a great sense of smell, what we do. They've used them for tracking before anti-poaching.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave my old shirt, got my scent on it, and they'll be able to follow me no matter where I go.
No problem.
They'll never find us. No. I've zigzagged. I've gone over different terrain so that you can't see my feet. I've basically tried to use everything I could use in order to know that he's not tracking me visually, he didn't hear me. There's no way the elephant saw me. There's no way he heard me. The only way this elephant's gonna find me is through scent. Thinking about it, if these guys are able to track with their scent as well as these guys claim they can, it makes it that much more scary.
Just follow.
Follow. Follow. Follow, man. Follow.
Ole. Okay. And that's amazing. There was no way for them to track me other than just scent. And even when they were on my trail, I thought we lost him. They zipped around, picked it back up, and this guy knew where I was immediately, whoom, like an arrow. You'll never get away. You'll never be able to hide from an elephant that wants to kill you. That's a good thing to remember as I begin my search for rogues. I'm starting in dangerous territory. Mothers with calves. Elephants live in highly structured matriarchal societies. The largest female will generally lead a tight-knit group of related younger females and calves, while the males come and go as they please. And females can be more dangerous than the males because they have more to protect. Even getting close to a calf accidentally can provoke a vicious attack. Three South African game park workers experienced the full wrath of an angry female elephant when their vehicle was attacked. Two were killed. One was gored to death. The other died days later of shock. Conservation manager Tony Conway describes what happened.
The staff were coming back from burning fires. They drove down the road, they saw some elephant, and they undertook the standard procedure, switched the vehicle off, lights off, keep very quiet, windows up so body odor doesn't come up. Now, for some reason, a cow got quite vicious, pushed the truck off the side of the road and back into a tree. She lifted the roof off like a tin can. I mean, this female was seriously cross. The tusk went right through the seat and through the back panel.
Really?
So we knew it was quite a long tusk. When we got to the truck, they were all lying in the front. The one woman in the middle seat had been killed, and the one on either side of her were just absolutely frozen stiff, with their eyes closed. We thought they were dead until I saw one guy blink and realized, you know, there was some life here.
Does that suggest, in your opinion, that there can be just a rogue elephant, that one elephant that doesn't act normally?
To say the animal didn't act normally is an understatement. I'd never seen an elephant react like this. It was quite clearly just, it was a horrific attack, in our opinion, unprovoked.
That attack was extreme behavior for a female. And so it's not just males that turn rogue. I want to see how a normal female will react to me on foot. You expect with this kind of situation, you've got a big mother with her baby. She knows how to protect her calf, and she's probably had to do it a number of times throughout her life. That's an ear display. That wasn't for her to cool down. That was for me to pay attention. You just got to really be aware of what you're doing and what the animal's telling you. Oh, there, see that with the trunk raised? That's the head up I'm talking about. That's a bit of a threat display. Baby's mimicking mom. When I look at an animal like this, she's got every right to come and charge me, squish me, and keep me away from her baby. But she's not doing it. She's sussing out her situation and seeing if I'm a threat or not. This mom was pretty cool, but there's another type of female which, by reputation, is much more aggressive. This is my tuskless female with her baby, and these are said to be the most dangerous elephants around. The ones without tusks are supposed to be very aggressive, so in this thick stuff, it's not clever to be following around, so I'm giving her a wide berth. In regions of Africa, there are populations of elephants that are now up to 30% tuskless. This number is on the rise, and researchers think that by poaching more elephants with ivory tusks, the remaining tuskless females are more likely to pass on this trait. It's thought they're more prone to attack because they don't have tusks to rely on for communication or defense. So they're inclined to go on the offense at the first sign of trouble. The thing that most people do when they're walking with elephants is they try and stay silent and stay hidden. That is not my technique at all. I'm trying to interact with these guys and see how they are around people. She sees me, I'm close. This is the aggressive one. I'm in a bad spot. Okay, now she's definitely interacting with me. That's a bit of a, okay, don't worry. That is a mock charge. That's her saying, get away from my baby. I'm gonna take a couple steps backwards. I'm gonna listen to her, tell her, hey, no problem. Okay, I think she's gonna look for her out. You're with these animals that you're told are horribly aggressive. And that wasn't aggressive. That was the most perfect animal you've ever seen. That's an animal that says, I'll communicate before I'll hurt you. She saw me, she didn't want me near her baby. She told me to get lost. I backed off, she realized I was going away. Trouble is, there's no way of really knowing which elephant is gonna be rogue. All I can do is pay real close attention to their signals. Just found this female. She's not too sure what I'm doing here, so but maybe if I sit here long enough, she'll realize I'm just gonna watch her, and maybe she'll relax. I think she's sneaking up on me. She's out here with her calf separated from her herd, and with no backup, she's really edgy about being on her own. This girl's making me a little nervous, getting a little too close. I don't like when they bend their knees down a bit, because that's the beginning part of when they tuck their trunk underneath them and run. And that's not a display. That's not a, hey, I want you out of here. It's, I'm coming to kill you. This female really seems unimpressed by me. She wants to get somewhere that she feels more relaxed. And I think it's behind me. There was more bush back there than out there. Just giving her a bit of space. She's definitely going for this thicket. I think she wants to get into some cover to protect her baby. And I really think she's on a hair trigger. One mistake with this female, and I think that might be provoked a bit of aggression, so. You'll see, they're a lot like that. They like to communicate before they get aggressive. That's communicating she's not totally happy. This is the beginning stages of a problem. And for the first time, our tracker is worried. He warns me and the crew to back off immediately. Stand up. Willem, stand up. This is a female getting aggressive. She wants us out of here. You know, that's what we're looking for. I've been with females with their babies a bunch of times out through this whole project, and that was the first one that said, no, that's it. I'm not gonna tell you to go away. I'm gonna show you. And she, I can tell you, was on the edge of deciding if, well, maybe I should just squish him or threaten him and I'll move off. Luckily, it was a threat, and we can go now and settle our nerves a bit.
That's good.
Oh, thank you. We did all right. You made me nervous, I can tell you. That encounter was pretty tense. But there are places in Africa where fear is a fact of life. My investigation into rogue elephants brings me to a small village in Zambia where there's a war going on between humans and elephants. Kelvin introduces me to Aaron. He lost his wife and one of his children to a rogue female. Now I understand Aaron had a pre-traumatic event with
Yeah, that's exactly.
elephants. And did he tell you the story?
Yeah,
Let
let me just give you the brief of it. This man and this is the child to Aaron. Yeah, they went to visit their mother-in-laws. So as they were coming, they saw some elephants close to them. So Aaron tried very hard to run away. Then when he saw that he had left his wife and the children, so he had to stood and hide himself in the bush. But the wife continued running away. As you know that an elephant runs faster than a human being.
Yes. As Aaron and his son hid, his wife and other child were unable to escape the elephant's fatal attack.
Quite a very sad story.
Very sad story.
Yeah.
Aaron, I'm very sorry, but thank you very much for sharing your story with me. You know, when you're doing this kind of thing, you know, we're out there looking at rogues and having to interview people that have lost lives and lost wives and children and things like that. It drains you quite seriously when you're, you know, sit there and you face some guy who's lost his whole family to an elephant attack. And although my interest is in the animal behavior, it's also, you know, as a human being, you sort of really feel for the people that have to go through this kind of stuff. Still dealing with the shock of individual loss, I come across the scene of even more widespread loss and destruction. Just speaking to the old chief of this village has now become all but abandoned. And as he was telling me, it's all based on pressure from elephants. This was a farming community and they had crops all around here. But unfortunately, these crops are situated in amongst one game reserve, and there's a whole nother one over there. And we're finding anywhere in Africa where there's elephants and crops, you've got big problems. Himushu is the chief of this village, and he's seen rogue elephants seek out and deliberately kill people in this community. You're saying every now and again you just get an elephant that doesn't like people.
We live in fear because when you see elephants, even if you just walk quietly, still once it sees that that's a human being, that will be your end.
Just the other day, a woman was killed under this tree, and the entire village sat over here helplessly watching. This happened so much that the chief was able to describe to me how an elephant usually attacks someone. They grab you by the trunk, throw you down, take the tusks, boom, ram it in, then its feet, squish, squish, squish. And as he described to me, they'll stand on your head and they don't leave you until you're flat. Now, it's time to find some lone males and see if I can identify a rogue. That's a bull elephant saying, "You're too close, back off." Veterinarian Sybil Quant has spent a lot of time around elephants and knows that these rogues are a direct result of negative interactions with people.
There's always a reason why an elephant would behave that way. Either it had bad experiences as a youngster, perhaps the elephant has been threatened or attacked by humans. There's always a reason. People, they encroach more and more on previously undisturbed elephant range, and suddenly now you have these fields, and quite often without a fence. So, I mean, this is like an invitation for any elephants living in that area to come and help themselves. The people try and keep them out, so immediately you have an absolute conflict situation.
The attacks in this village highlight the fact that you can't tell which elephant might be a rogue. All you can do is try and keep the people and the elephants apart. Nina Gibson is with the Elephant Pepper Project, and she's working with local farmers on a natural deterrent for the elephants. And they're using a locally grown remedy, red hot chilies.
The farmers grow the chilies and they crush the chilies up. The farmers then mix that dry chili with grease, and they put simple string fences surrounding their fields, interspersed with cloth, which they smear in that chili grease. And the elephant smells the chili as it approaches the field. Those same crushed chilies, they mix with either cow dung or elephant dung, whatever dung is around, basically. Make them into briquettes. It's the same sort of effect as a mosquito coil, and that creates a noxious smoke.
They've had success with the chilies on small farms, and it's no wonder why the elephants stay away. The smell is disgusting. So I can't leave without seeing for myself just how hot these chilies are.
They're really hot.
Tasting one of these things, you can realize why elephants don't want anything to do with it. It's hot. Oh. I'm sure they're smarter than me and they can smell that it's hot. Oh. I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. I've spent a lot of time around elephants, and they are fascinating to watch. I also know that elephants, probably more than any other animal, can become rogue. And by rogue, I'm talking about behavior that's outside the bounds of normal aggression or self-defense. My first encounter is with a young male, and he's very tough, at least in his own mind.
Look, I'll give it a display. He wants to play. Ears are out, that's all good display behavior. But we start the engine and it kind of startled him. He was just playing, not wanting to follow through. About 10 more years, when he gets twice that size or more, then he won't be game anymore. He'll be turning his Jeep over.
That was pretty tame, but I'm curious to test how bigger, stronger elephants will react as I approach them. As I make my way along the Zambezi River, it isn't long before I see a lone bull on the shoreline. He's not all that big, but still just as dangerous. The second he sees me, he's agitated.
See his ears popping out like that? That's a display. He's saying, look it, you're too close. I'm a big bad elephant. Leave me alone. A little bull is sort of like a test of being who's bigger. Flapping his ears around, showing me how big he is. If I don't listen, he's gonna start increasing his displays. Look at him. That's just for me. It's like, hey, I'm big. You better watch out.
That's a bull elephant saying, you're too close, back off. That went pretty much as I expected. He gave me a warning, I backed off. Daryl Belfour thought he knew elephants well enough to recognize the warning signals. He was on foot in Kruger National Park, photographing elephants for a new book, when an angry bull named Tokwan attacked and tried to kill him.
Tracked this elephant down, grabbed my cameras and walked in on him. Got up close, about 25, 30 yards from him. Tokwan spun around, saw me and immediately mock charged. He didn't hesitate, he just came straight in. So I thought, okay, well, I've got my shots, I'll head back to the vehicle. But I gone about 50 yards and I looked back and Tokwan is feeding and the setting was better and the light was better, and I thought, let me just go back and finish the film in these cameras. He suddenly spun around and he came at me again. And then he put his head down, screamed this one really strong trumpeting sound, tucked his trunk up under his chest and came at me. Before I could even scramble out of his way, he was on top of me. There was just these massive feet kicking and stomping, and there was dust and chaos. And he stepped back and stepped on my calf and just lifted me out underneath him, right up like that, and then threw me down with a kind of a flick. And that dislocated my hip. I can remember seeing at that stage, was lying there, seeing these two massive tusks coming straight for me. And I pulled aside, and he hit me a glancing blow on the side of my head with one of his tusks.
In this case, do you know what caused your attack?
The mistake I made was going back a second time. Tokwan had already given me the message that he didn't like people.
As I continue my search for rogues, I'm even more aware of just how easily I could provoke an elephant to charge. This bull is bigger than all the elephants I've been close to so far. As soon as he looked at me, I could tell he's right on the edge. Is this just circumstance, or could he be rogue? Walking down looking for the herd, and this guy was pretty relaxed. You can actually see there's a rhino way at the back there, and I want to sit here and see what he does. But as soon as I started walking, picked his head up a little bit, focused on me. That's him just checking me out, seeing what's going on. And now he's starting to sway a bit. There's a good chance he may start to threaten me. If he does, I'm in a real open area, nowhere to go. Not a good place to be. This guy doesn't have huge tusks. That doesn't mean I can relax for a second. He can kill me easily without tusks. And it seems like he might be willing to try. Okay, he's coming for me now. See, what you're seeing is a display. That is an elephant flashing his ears. He's swaying a bit, he's swinging his foot. See that? Lifting his head up there. Ears are out, showing me how big he is. This guy is not impressed with me on foot. He's used to people being on vehicles. The Jeep, we're right beside the Jeep here, eh? Are we gonna have our keys in our vehicles, or is he not gonna screw our vehicles up? This is the exact kind of animal you've seen that just decide they want to get tough. This is the population that go and pick on rhinos to kill them just to show them that they can. These guys are not good guys to be around and playing with. His penis is out. That's him showing me, you want to go? I'm your man. It's getting closer and closer. He is definitely setting me up. He's defecating, peeing. All of this is him sort of setting me off on a display, but yeah? He's big. The rhinos are now heading out of here. They know what a dangerous elephant looks like. This is an animal who is not happy. He's coming. Okay, let's go. Come on, John. Oh, yeah. Come on. Get out of here. You don't know what a delinquent male is until you see a guy like this. He saw me, he checked me out, then boom, 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 walked over to me, showed me his ears, and that's an elephant saying, I am so big and so tough, I can smash you if you don't get out of here. When you're on foot with an animal like that, you have to make sure that you have an out, because if you don't, he's not going to give you a second chance. For years, many African wildlife reserves have been struggling to deal with too many elephants. One solution has been traumatic mass culls. A more humane method has been to translocate or move elephants from overcrowded areas to less populated reserves. But by only moving parts of the herd, many young males are left without guidance and discipline from dominant elephants. Just like kids with no discipline, this has led to some abnormal and frightening behavior. These delinquent males, as I call them, are killing rhinos. Park Ranger Grace Kemp witnessed an elephant viciously killing a rhino. She takes me to the scene of the attack.
So I was actually doing a game drive. We're on the road that's just here, 10 meters away from us. And there was an elephant. I knew there was an elephant in the area, so I'd brought the guests to come and see the elephant. And then when I got here, I found the elephant chasing this rhino up and down. The elephant was chasing him, his ears out, his trunk up, but not trumpeting, he was quiet. Jeez. And after about 10 minutes, the elephant got him here, he knelt on him, and the rhino was screaming, and then he started stabbing him.
With his tusks?
Yeah, with one tusk, his left tusk. And then he stopped screaming, the elephant was still stabbing him. It sounded very high-pitched scream, like a pig.
So he had his knees here?
Yeah, you can see it's broken.
Yeah, so he drove tusks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What happened to the elephant?
The elephant, then he stood over him, so he would have had his feet either side of the rhino.
Right.
And for about 5 minutes, he just stood there, just calm, like nothing had happened. He just stood there, not doing anything, just like he's just standing, relaxing. And then slowly, he wandered off.
Is this something you've seen before? Or?
No, it's not normal behavior.
This is real rogue behavior. Rhinos are well armed and fast, and while they can be aggressive, they generally stay out of the way. Here she comes. Look out. Elephants and rhinos are not natural enemies, and yet in several reserves in South Africa, elephants are now the #1 killer of rhinos, just behind humans. And the way they chase down the rhinos and gore them multiple times, it seems to be more for fun or sport than anything else.
You can compare it with street kids, what we have in human society as well. A lot of these bulls, they have been taken out of intact family groups at a young age. So the guidance they have through their family group, through their mothers and aunts and everything else is gone. And quite often then they are together with other youngsters of the same age. And for them, it's then just poor survival. So they start bullying each other, and they don't know any borders. They don't know the proper family social structure because their framework is gone.
Is there such a thing as a rogue elephant?
What I have learned over my many years working with elephants is no elephant is like the other. They are all individuals, all of them.
I'm still trying to find the most dangerous of all, a musk bull, a big testosterone-filled male whose only goals are to breed and fight. Now, I don't know if you can pick this up. We've got a small breeding herd right up here, but look at that one. Look at that one that just stands way above everybody else. That's our musk bull. Musk bull is probably the most aggressive animal, but there are females there with little babies. This is a bad situation. I gotta make sure that I stay on the outside of this herd and keep it out. Because if that guy starts displaying, it's not going to be displaying for long. It's going to be boom, and tons of follow through. I'm going to have to take it very easy. Even with a ranger and a tracker, we're about to put ourselves in harm's way. Elephants tend to send signals that they're stressed. They stream down the side of their heads, they group together, and they move off a bit. So you see those kinds of things happening and you think, well, okay, I better step back a bit and maybe in their comfort zone. Elephants are really dangerous animals. And they do become aggressive, and they become focused in their aggression. By trying to get very close to wild elephants on foot, I'm taking my life in my hands. But that's the only way to understand what triggers some elephants to go rogue. So far, I've survived a few close calls. But that's nothing compared to what I'm about to walk into. Get out of here! You want to talk about the big bad elephants? You've got a normal elephant, biggest, baddest thing in the bush. Then, you want to step it up a little bit, you've got a mother with a calf. They are an animal you do not want to anger. Now, let's go right to the toughest, the biggest of the bad. It's a musk bull. Those guys have just got testosterone in their body, and they're tough and looking for a fight. And if you're dumb enough to go close to them, you'll get one. Wrap the whole thing up into one package, get one huge breeding herd that's got all of those things. That's where I'll find my rogue. Hey, Terry. You got a signal from your elephants?
Yeah, basically...
Tariq is tracking some of the radio-colored elephants so he can get us right in the middle of the action.
Right. So at the moment we're about 6.5 km from them.
The herd is now just over 4 miles away. We're hoping to get close before they move off again.
So you're going to check from up here for the elephants?
Yeah, just a high vantage point. Maybe we'll pick them up.
Okay.
From the hilltop, we're hoping to pick up a strong signal that will show us where they're heading.
Okay, so that's the signal.
Yeah.
From one of the colors. You can see it's quite strong.
All right.
It seems that several elephants are staying close together, and they're on the move.
All heading about that way?
Yeah.
Moving through the bush like this has us all on edge. It's quite likely they already know exactly where we are. But if they haven't sensed us yet, we run the risk of startling them.
We've been tracking now for quite a while over rock terrain. We're now in the middle of a breeding herd. We know there's musk bulls in this area. We know that there's delinquent animals all around here. In fact, last week, one of them went and killed a rhino. This is a bad place to be with this mountain shrub. You can't see anything. Yeah, actually, we can stay here. We saw an elephant, and she's coming along here. Just want to back up and give her some space. Walking up on individuals, maybe a mom and a calf, maybe a musk bull, maybe an individual bull. It's all got its own sense of danger. I hate it when animals don't know I'm here. I never like to surprise animals. This wind goes the wrong way. She's coming. Man, I hate that noise.
The elephants are nearby, but we have no idea how many there are. If they decide to attack, we won't see it coming.
She's got a really small one.
It's a mom. She's on high alert, and I've got to be careful.
I just wanted to see me, smell me. Know that I don't mean anybody any harm. This'll make your heart pound.
The rest of the herd is moving, closing in on us. It's almost like a military maneuver. I'm not sure what he's up to, but based on his threatening stance, I think this could be a problem.
Okay, we need to start getting back, John. Stand up. No, stay here. Okay, I'm not gonna look at him. I don't want to give him too much aggression.
We've got no vehicle, and hiding behind a tree is not going to save anyone. I've got to psych this elephant out. It's turned into a deadly game of chicken.
I want him to know that I'm not scared of him, but I am. We are surrounded. He's behind that tree. He's watching us.
These elephants have clearly been communicating. They're so smart. I'm sure this is all part of a plan that I don't understand.
The adults have moon-shaped the herd. They basically corralled the entire herd so that there's an empty out for us. Now, if we can go over here, then I can get out. Basically, what we've just been given is the big adults have just said, listen, if you want out, you go over there. You want to fight, you want to cause trouble with my herd, just stay right where you are, because we're coming. There's elephants over here, elephants over here. I'm going to give, I need to take that out that they gave me. This is part of why I think you're going to see elephants can be rogue, just like people can be rogue. This was an intelligent operation by 2 adult elephants. You can see that there's different personalities because an individual came out and said, nah, I'm not going to fight you, but I am going to keep my family out of here.
It seems that if we didn't interact with elephants, there would be no such thing as a rogue. Their behavior would simply be a law of nature. The bigger animal makes the rules. Nothing is more focused and nothing more physically capable of inflicting horrific damage than an elephant on a rampage.
And when you're talking about an animal that big, that agile, that strong, out here in the wild, there's nowhere for me to go. I can't climb a tree that they can't push down. I can't find a hiding spot that they can't either sniff, hear, or see me in. There's nowhere to go. As a good friend of mine told me, the best way to stop an elephant attack is not get in one.
If an elephant wants you dead, there is nothing you can do to stop it. There is no question in my mind there are rogue elephants. With their intellect, size, and focus, maybe the worst kind of rogue.